Well, another busy hockey week in the Vegas Valley as the Vegas Golden Knights coming off back-to-back road games in Nashville and Dallas got a huge 2 points last night. And, well, we're going to break that down and everything else to come this week on Nighttime at Noon along with Darren Eliot. I am Brian McCormack. And for the Golden Knights, you know, when you're playing every day, every other day, there's no real opportunity to catch your breath and assess things, which is why when you can get a big 2 points like they did in Dallas last night, to feel good about yourselves and launch yourself forward into this home stretch, that is significant. And for the Golden Knights coming off a frustrating loss in Nashville where they outshot the Predators essentially 2-1, they found just enough scoring last night against Dallas, a Dallas team that you could argue is the hottest in the National Hockey League at the time.
Very much so. You need these points in the standings. That's obvious this time of season. And they've had that frustration going on for a while now where they've played well enough to win but found ways to not win. But last night, again, it was there, right? A couple of timely saves by Aiden Hill, a 4-minute PK sequence. You score a power play goal. So those, plus all the things that went into, real good play at 5-on-5. The other thing is, though, you sometimes have to look at the opposition, too. I mean, you did what you were supposed to do. You played the way you had to play. But Dallas had just gone through playing their divisional rivals, Colorado and Minnesota.
Back end of a back-to-back for them, too.
Right. And, they, with travel, so maybe, they were a little flatter. You caught them at the right time and did what you had to do.
We're going to break it all down. We've also got plenty of Silver Knights to talk about. They're in the midst of a red-hot stretch out of the All-Star break, 13-3-2, looking to make a playoff push of their own, and, of course, lots of VGK prospects down there that fans will be interested in. Lots of NHL-wide storylines, a few of our favorite things for later on in the show as the My Favorite Things baskets being auctioned off throughout this week. So we got a lot to cover, and we invite you, if you're on Fox Sports Las Vegas with us, that's outstanding. If you want to follow along, this is also being simulcast across the VGK digital channels, as it always is. Katie's on the outside. She's providing quality control. Jeff's got the cameras. We are well equipped and ready to talk hockey. Now, looking at yesterday, again, a win over the Stars coming from behind across the course of the game, but gave up 15 shots against a good Dallas team. But, again, they've had some games where they've done a pretty good job in shot suppression. They needed a night where Aiden Hill could be a difference maker, and he made 2 stops last night, one on Maverick Bourque and the one that's gotten even more viral attention, the save he made on Sam Steele. He was a difference maker for the VGK, giving them time to find the goal they needed late. He was.
The challenge in playing goal for the Vegas Golden Knights all season long, their expected goals, their shot suppression, expected goals against, their defensive foundation has been there all season long. It's been maybe some moments where one goal turns into 3. You don't get the save when you exactly need it. The crease has been a bit of turmoil other than, because they've had 3 guys come in. Schmidt has been the constant, but he wasn't expected to carry the load. So it's been a position in flux a little bit. And it always gets the most scrutiny, especially when you play for a team that doesn't give up much. So the goals you give up are scrutinized even that much more.
And again, you got to find those positives and immediately inject them because the next game's right around the corner tomorrow in Winnipeg. The Thursday game against Edmonton is going to be very important, of course, and then the Caps and the Canucks to round out March. I'll tell you what, kudos were due for you. You coming back from injury yourself. There's no 3 or 4 days between games to take an optional morning skate. You're right back on your feet, just flying into the rotation.
And it's been fun, but it's been every role too, right? It's like Ashley and I did the pregame show before the national game at Utah. I was in the booth with Dave Gosher as Shane was off doing a national game. We did the telecast for HSK. We're doing Nighttime at Noon. Hey, any chance to get me on TV and be at the rink? I'm in.
We asked Tim Speltz joined us on Saturday night at Lee's Family Forum, and before we went on the air, you were going through that list of activities, and I said, what is the broadcaster cycle? To which Tim said, is it play-by-play in there? And that's interesting. We might have to find a way.
No, that would not be good.
Something could happen to me at any moment. Well, as we dive more into the past 2 games for the Golden Knights and a big 2 points yesterday against the Dallas Stars, after the game, last night. Of course, Bruce Cassidy caught up with the media. Let's hear what he had to say. Maybe. Yeah.
So, I'd like to start with that. And like I said, just terrible.
Thank you for sharing that. In terms of the game tonight, what part are you most proud of?
There's some different things. We got through the third period. They really had a push like 5 minutes into the period. A couple of extended shifts on our end. We got through it. We didn't panic. Got our breath. Got some saves from Hilly in that stretch. Scored first, so I like that part. They got a couple, so it didn't deter us in the second period. I thought, like the first period yesterday, I thought it was one of our better periods in terms of possession and, kind of territorially being the better team and not. I think we gave up one chance the whole period. So a lot of good things. And then the 6-on-5, I thought we defended really well. We kept them to the outside. They're dangerous. We got a really good power play, and that can translate into 6-on-5 success. And I thought we handled that well.
What are you seeing from your second power play unit right now?
Our first unit, you mean?
Well, I was going to ask, what is it like balancing? You want to get those top guys their touches, right?
I will say that face-off play we have worked on in practice. I was down there the other day, but it was Bowman who was actually on the ice, not Sisson. So good for Howie and Barbie to get the message across, because we want to take the face-off on that side because he's a lefty. Now you have Sisson, so you could use either side, but I can't remember how it became on that side, but Howie drops off and runs the back of the net, gets over to the other side, but he actually saw Barbie, so good for him. They made that low seam play that other group hasn't been able to make lately to Pav, right? We've been making it all year. They've been taking it away. So good for them. They got one the other night, screenshot with traffic, so they're keeping it simple, trying to play close to the net, so good for them. And then they had a chance in the third off the rush, a stretch breakout, another thing we work on, and Raz was in all alone. Smith made a great save, so obviously they want a little more time on it, and that's how you get it. Compete with the other group.
The kill in the second period, Bruce. Just how big was that?
Yeah, that's probably the other part I missed. It was yesterday, right? We think about the kill we had against when Theo took the high sticky penalty. We weren't able to get it done against Nashville. It turns the game around a little bit. So today we dug in, got it done. So that was a big part of the game too.
Did you feel like you deserved to win this game? You controlled a lot of it.
I thought we did it. Listen, I thought we deserved to win yesterday, but what I think doesn't matter, right? You walk out of there. There's been a few times this year I walked out of the rink and thought, geez, I thought we played pretty well, maybe deserved to win. We lose by 3 goals. So, maybe I'm in outer space in that, but I don't know. Sometimes you measure your team by the process and a little bit how you're playing. And today I thought we were the better team. I don't know. I'll watch it again tomorrow, but that's how I saw it tonight. So good for the guys. If you keep playing well and play like the better team, then sooner or later you're going to end up on the right side of the scoreboard as the better team.
It used to feel like a playoff game to you.
I thought it was. I mean, in terms of how they check, they don't give you much. When we're at our best, we play that way. Not a lot of room out there. So yeah, I felt it was, and the emotion for our guys. Listen, we haven't done a lot of winning lately, so we needed a game like this where a little adversity, push through it, playoff atmosphere, and then for us now we got to carry it forward, right? We've got to recognize that if that's what it takes to win, that's what it takes. And there hasn't been a lot of easy games for us, especially lately, so I'll dig in on the hard ones.
And that was head coach Bruce Cassidy after last night's win in Dallas. I'm not sure if the audio picked up for both audiences in the beginning. The first thing he spoke about was just giving his condolences to the family of Jesse Pierce, who's a reporter that covered the Minnesota Wild, and tragedy, lost her life, her and her young children. So certainly a tragic story, and we send our condolences along as well. After that portion of the availability, though, he got down to the hockey, and with that, some fun commentary in there. First of all, you always like when there's competition in the locker room, guys fighting for jobs, fighting for roles, and he doesn't mind poking the bear a little bit between power play units 1 and 2, whichever one you label as which.
Well, it's interesting because the power play has been a strength all season long. That's with Eichel and Stone, and the 5 forward power play that has Dorofeev with 18 power plays, and you've got Marner. So and Hurdle. Those are the 5 guys that have carried it most of the season. So now it's dried up a little bit with those guys getting a little bit stuck, static, whatever you will, options taken away. And back-to-back games, the other unit, the second unit, scores. So, yeah, he pokes and prods him a little bit. But, when you're the second unit, you're going to be more direct because you don't get much time. I mean, honestly, they get less than 30 seconds every time there's a power play that doesn't get scored on by that top unit or scored for. So, just by the nature of the limited time, you don't have time to set it up and throw it around. It's like, hurry off the bench, get into the zone, get the puck to the net, and they've had success the last couple of games.
Later on in the conversation, I think it sounded like it was Dave Gosher, I think, who posed the question. It kind of speaks to what we were talking about at the start of this conversation, which is you find something good, you find something positive, and you apply it quickly. As Dave posed it, do you guys feel like you deserved to win this game? And that kind of falls into the same category, which is to say, even when things aren't going well, if you think you deserve to win, Bruce said he thought they deserved to win in Nashville. That gives you the ability in these rapid-fire games coming at you to have something to go back to. Okay, we can apply these principles, we can do these things we did well, clean up the 3 or 4 mistakes, and have success. It's when you don't believe you deserve to win, when you feel like you got run out of the building, things can snowball. So that's something that's important, that the VGK mentality right now is we were rewarded yesterday for something that we probably could have been rewarded for at other points during the week.
During the season.
Yeah.
I again, their defensive metrics are impeccable. And their ability to score with the power play, in particular, being a driving force. So their offensive analytics, especially at home, have been really good. Expected goals for, expected goals against. It brings a question, expected by whom? But when you play the game, it doesn't always go that way. But coaches look at process. How is our team playing? Are we doing the right things to give ourselves a chance to win? And by and large, the team has. It's been more uneven in terms of points. So right now you're at a point in the season where it's not so much about process, even though for a coach it always is, it's about points. So when you have that and you get the points, it's like, finally, now can we kind of replicate that in terms of points, not just process.
And just to remind anyone who'd forgotten, this is a Golden Knights team that had dropped a few, Buffalo, Utah, and Nashville, of course, trying to find some more scoring. But before that, scored plenty against Pittsburgh and Chicago. So there's ebbs and flows. But when things are a little rough and you need a big night, sometimes the way I phrase it is, what makes a great goaltender? A goaltender wins the games he's supposed to win, and every now and then he'll win a couple that he's not. That applies to other players, too.
Right.
Sometimes you need either your best players to be the difference maker, or you need guys who have been there before, guys who are culturally pillars in your room or in your organization to be the difference makers. And Riley Smith had not played since March the 10th. I think 5 games out of the lineup, comes back in and scores a goal that the Golden Knights very much needed late.
Yeah, and really, it's they'd lost 3 straight.
Yeah.
So you bring a veteran in. He has 12 goals now on the season. So he's had a solid season. To me, and Braden McNabb goes end-to-end last night. Another pillar, right?
We'll talk about that too.
Two of the misfits. But to me, when you've lost 3 in a row, it's about your star players. So all of a sudden, Mark Stone, he only has points in 1 of his last 8 games. It was a 2-assist game. And Jack Eichel's gone 5 straight without a point. Mitch Marner is the other one. So he has a superstar moment on the game-winning goal by getting the puck to the shooting position that Riley Smith scores. So, yes, you're looking for the pillars, as you talked about, Brian, but you're looking for your best players to lead in those situations. And I think you got a little bit of both with McNabb and Smith and Marner coming through in the clutch.
Golden Knights with a get-it-done evening in Dallas, and now getting ready for the final game of this road trip in Winnipeg tomorrow night, a Jets team that is not having a good season and at the same time has the personnel on their roster that their record and their roster don't exactly match. So definitely a game you got to be ready for before the big game on Thursday against the Edmonton Oilers with, of course, the tightness of the Pacific Division standings, which we'll dig into as well. But something for the Golden Knights to smile about, waking up and getting to Winnipeg, which I guess we're late enough in March. I was just in Calgary, and there was a Chinook came through. So nice.
Warm.
That's right. Light jacket weather in Calgary. I don't know if Winnipeg's getting that right now, but better to be there at the end of March than it is to be at the beginning of January. We're going to take a break, but before we do, we remind you that Golden Knights fans, you can celebrate UNLV night with the Vegas Golden Knights on Thursday, April 2nd, when the team battles the Calgary Flames at T-Mobile Arena with puck drop set for 7 p.m. Special ticket packages start at $90 each and include a limited edition VGK UNLV screen print jersey, part of our exclusive Season 9 jersey offer series. A portion of the ticket proceeds will benefit the UNLV IPSM programs, aiding the growth of professional sports in Las Vegas. Tickets must be purchased through this package to qualify for the jersey, and quantities and sizing are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit VegasGoldenKnights.com today and purchase this special ticket package, VegasGoldenKnights.com, for VGK UNLV night on April 2nd. We'll hop out when we come back. More on last night's win in Dallas and some HSK coverage as well. Silver Knights have won 7 of their last 8, surging in the right direction. That's all straight ahead. Nighttime at noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Back on Nighttime at Noon, Darren Eliot, Brian McCormack. If you don't already have it, if you're not already a subscriber, you should be. Nighttime Plus is the official streaming platform for the Vegas Golden Knights, and for a limited time can be purchased through a special stretch run offer. Fans can now subscribe to Nighttime Plus for the remainder of the 25-26 season for just $14.99. The offer includes the team's remaining games on Scripps Sports during the regular season, as well as the first round of the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. Fans can sign up for the end-of-season offer by going online to nighttimeplus.com, nighttimeplus.com, $14.99 to get on to Nighttime Plus for this special stretch run offer. Well, we've talked a lot about yesterday and the Golden Knights 3-2 win over the Dallas Stars. Late goal scored by Riley Smith to give the Golden Knights much-needed win. Brett Howden appeared in his 300th game as a Golden Knight yesterday. Big milestone for Brett Howden. And Mitch Marner picked up his 70th point of the season. That's the 5th most in a single season in VGK history, so two nice accomplishments there. The Golden Knights broke through offensively. They opened the scoring on an end-to-end rush by Braden McNabb, who finds a way to impact the game in multiple different ways. We don't usually see him do it that way.
No, you don't see many players go end-to-end, which he did. It's interesting, too, because more recently, and I talked to Braden last week before they went out on the road, it seemed as if there was an emphasis on getting more involved in the attack from the blue line. And he goes, yes, absolutely. And it's not just about filling holes and filling lanes. And this is a perfect example of it. He was the first man back behind his own net. Forechecker hits him. He makes the play, but he doesn't stay static. He gets up in front of the forechecker, so now he's more in position than the defensive player is. Puck comes across to him in the middle of the ice, and as he said, he just kept taking the ice and then showed fine hands. And again, we've talked about Braden McNabb, the leader stepping forward. He does it in a quiet, decisive way, both physically and then he shows offensively. And when he was a player in junior high, so many guys in this league were stars, scorers, and then when you get to the National Hockey League, your role changes a little bit. The skills don't go away, and he showed that yesterday against the Dallas Stars. He was a big scorer in junior hockey.
It's his 4th of the season.
Yep.
Last year he had 5. He had 4 the year before that, so he contributes on that end. Sometimes when I think of Braden McNabb, they used to say, this is going to be me reaching out into left field to grab this, but like Ichiro Suzuki, they used to say he did not hit a lot of home runs. But if you watched him during batting practice, he could reach the upper deck. He could.
Right.
He just chose to hit 370 instead. Now, not a perfect analogy here.
Right,
but,
I know what you're saying.
The kind of end-to-end rush we saw yesterday, that's usually reserved for your McCarrs and your Hugheses. I don't expect Braden McNabb to do that every night. But I think we sometimes lose track that Braden McNabb does contribute offensively, and there's probably more there if he wanted to be that player, but he is needed on this team to be a physical shutdown presence. That's what he serves best, and it's what he puts his most focus into.
And he's been Shea Theodore's defensive partner forever.
You can't both go.
Exactly. And this year they've been elevated to the top pair. So they have to play more. They have to focus more on the defense because they're against the opposition's top line more often than not. So, but it's there for everybody. It's like playing on your toes. You don't just race up the ice, and that's what I think he showed on that goal. It was, I don't want to call it methodical, but it just kept giving him ice. He kept taking it, and then he made a nice move on Miro Heiskanen, of all people, to get to the inside. Heiskanen certainly thinking that Braden McNabb was going to pass the puck to the wing, cheated. Braden McNabb made them pay.
I do agree. He gets to his own blue line and no one's coming. Okay, I'll keep going. Red line? All right, I'll keep going. Don't mind. It was a don't mind if I do, coast to coast for Braden McNabb. Now, for the Golden Knights, the win moves them back into second in the Pacific. They're 1 point clear of Edmonton, both teams having played 71 games. The Anaheim Ducks still first in the Pacific with a 4-point lead. Curious your thoughts on this Pacific Division, which I feel like over the last few days has gotten on your social media scrolling, has gotten a little bit more ire. It's been a tight division all season. Yes, there are some central teams that have put up some more points, but you run the race that you're in.
Right.
How does this Pacific stack up to you right now with, we're coming up on 10 games and change to play?
Well, it's more wide open than anybody in Vegas would like, or that we were expecting. Edmonton, the same thing. And their captain, Connor McDavid, called it a pillow fight.
Yeah.
So it's really no one's been able to grab hold of it. And two teams that have been dominant in the division over the last several years had higher expectations. Typically, they battle each other for the top spot. Suddenly, you knew that other teams were going to be better, one being the Anaheim Ducks, and they're proving it. And because of that, more teams are in the mix. L.A., just a few points out. So, it's a situation where that's where we are. That's where the season has what it's led to, that the uneven season that the Golden Knights have endured. But it's right there for you. If you can get on that ever elusive run. They won 7 games back in January. Boy, a 7-game rip right now would certainly change the tide in the Pacific Division.
As you mentioned, it condenses a little bit. I mean, the whole playoff picture, and that's the competitive balance we see. Like we said, Winnipeg has not had the season that they are expecting from themselves. And at the same time, you look and they're 5 points back.
Right.
Like they're not buried.
Well, and Nashville came out of nowhere.
Yes.
They're in the wild card situation right now. Kings just out with 73 points, and that's the only team really. I guess Seattle at 71, San Jose at 70. Inside the top 3 in the division is 77 at Edmonton. So that's getting a little bit. That's a lot of points to kind of garner with roughly around 11 games left to play.
I think an interesting thing to draw on from the Central, Colorado, Dallas, and Wild, they've been wagons all year, and they're gearing up for someone's going to have a heck of a first round, and that's how the bracket. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. But if you look at the other teams that are pushing, again, Nashville's trying to make a push. Utah and Anaheim both fall in that same category of young, growing teams that this year just took that step, and we're going to find out who they are down this stretch and into playoff hockey. But I think you mentioned the Connor McDavid comment of it's a pillow fight. What's so interesting about that is it's not him taking a shot at the division. It's frustration.
Right.
He's saying that as to say, like, I don't know why we're in this situation. These are teams that expect better of themselves. Right. I think Vegas would say the same thing with
very much so.
And like, why are we in this kind of wrestling match? We should be better than this. Now, of course, Edmonton still has goaltending challenges. They haven't been able to fix that even with the Jari trade. And Leon Draisaitl out until we'll find out. Definitely the rest of the regular season. So that's something that Edmonton has to contend with. But I think we have to remind ourselves that the talent on these rosters, they really can just at some point put it all together and become dangerous overnight.
Well, I would say that the teams in the Central that have had, they've just run away with it, Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota all season long, they would like to see one or both of Edmonton and Vegas out entirely because of exactly what you're saying. Like, these are quality teams that haven't had, to their standards, quality seasons, uneven for various reasons, injuries, and the like. So, it's and that's the belief inside both those locker rooms. The frustration, as you talk about, Brian, is both teams have higher expectations. They don't mind the battle down the stretch, but it's usually just against each other. It's not to secure a playoff spot per se.
And as we have this playoff conversation, let's take a break now just to keep us a little bit on time. We are going to come back. We are going to talk a little bit Silver Knights because, again, good things are happening over in Henderson. But the general manager meetings happened this past week, and there's a lot of chatter that leaked out of those meetings in terms of discussions, among them playoff format. So we'll take a swing at it as well when we come back. Darren Eliot, Brian McCormack, hanging here with you, nighttime at noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Golden Knight fans, don't you wish you could keep up with the VGK right at the touch of your screen? Well, of course you can. The official mobile app of the Vegas Golden Knights. You can scan, buy, transfer tickets, play new exclusive games, access live stats, receive game updates, and so much more. The official mobile app of the Vegas Golden Knights is available now on your smartphone through App Store and Google Play. Get the VGK mobile app. Back on Nighttime at noon, Brian McCormack, Darren Eliot, covering everything, so you don't have to worry about it. Hope everyone's brackets are doing okay so far. I didn't fill one out. We've got a 4-day break now from March Madness, so we got a couple of days for everyone to recover. I just found fantasy football so humbling. I didn't need to be publicly wrong in writing again, so I just left it be. But Katie was doing great. Katie was talking a big game yesterday, and then Florida lost, and now she's in the corner, not saying a thing.
She won last year, I understand.
Yeah, well, and you know what her method is? She picks the best logos. Was it the best logos or the cutest logos? Yes.
The ones that grab her eye,
That's right.
get her attention.
Athletic directors across the nation. Cute logos lead to championships. Well, let's talk a little bit of Silver Knights, because the Silver Knights are rolling right now. They've moved into playoff positioning. They are on a 13-3-2 surge since the All-Star break that took them from just outside the playoff picture to now they're knocking on the door of possible home ice advantage in the first round. They are 6th, 1 point back of 5th place Coachella, 2 points back of Bakersfield, and catching Bakersfield would give them first round home ice advantage. So it's a Silver Knights team having a completely different conversation than they were a month ago.
Yeah, and you know, it's again, Ryan Craig's team has bought in all season long to playing this similar defend. And defend doesn't just mean in your own zone. It means check all over the ice. When you don't have the puck, get it back as quickly as you can. Check for your chances. All those kinds of mantras, they've bought in all season long on that. And all of a sudden, well, more than all of a sudden, 13-3-2, but the team is getting results. They're scoring a ton of goals, and the power play leading the way. But there's some guys that have really found their stride, and some of the younger players in particular.
In the last 8 games, they have scored 47 goals.
Right.
47 goals in the last 8 games. They are number 1 in that category now in the American Hockey League. The 6-game road trip was what was most impressive, because any team going on a 6-game road trip, this was 6 games in a span of 10 days, by the way. You assume, hey, there's going to be a night there we don't have our best. We're going to give some back. Now, they had a couple of nights where they gave up. They gave up goals.
Right.
They just scored 7 or 8 on those given nights, but they scored on that road trip 37 goals and won all 6. Like, that's unheard of.
That's more than 6 goals a game by my quick math, and you should win. But again, as you said,
good point.
but the way they got there in a couple of them was, coming from behind in a couple of situations where you go, yeah, tonight's not our night. Oh, it is our night. Who knew? And the old cliches, they outscored some of their mistakes.
Yep.
But the brand of hockey they're playing is great. They have so many individual guys just playing at the top of their game, and some of them establishing what the top of their game is.
Let's look at a couple. We've got a couple things to get to, but players to highlight that this audience is going to be very curious about.
Yes.
Trevor Connolly. Trevor Connolly has a 12-game point streak. He has 17 points. He has points in 17 of his last 18. He has 27 points.
And he just turned 20
a month
in the
ago.
AHL.
A month ago. And this is a guy who got hurt during the World Juniors break, came back, caught fire immediately, and he's playing at a pace that if he had not missed time this season, he'd be at the very top of the scoring race for rookies.
For sure.
And then to add other end of the experience spectrum, Raphael Lavoie, who was named the AHL's Player of the Week this morning, and I don't think that was a very difficult vote. He has 9 goals in the last 7. He has 13 goals in the last 13. This is a player who missed 2 months this season due to injury, and it was a nagging injury.
Yes.
Something he was playing with earlier in the season. They said, you know what, let's just get this taken care of. And since he's come back, it's not a matter of like, oh, look, picking up where he left off. No, he's a better player.
Very, very much more on the inside. We're seeing Raphael Lavoie on 2 good wheels, and it's made all the difference. And as Brian said, it's not like, oh, okay, just pick. No, because I don't know that we ever saw Raphael Lavoie at his best since he joined the organization at the beginning of last year, because he had a nagging injury and he thought he could train over the summer and overcome it. It was not something that was brought to the attention of the medical staff. It was just like, oh, I've got ache and pain. I can get through it. I'll train it out of my system in the off season. And he got into a situation where it's like they played back-to-back games, couldn't go on, opted to have it medically addressed, and it has now made all the difference in the world. This is a bona fide power forward, and he's got NHL credentials the way he's playing right now.
Very good argument that the Raphael Lavoie, Tanner Lazinski, Ben Hemmerling line is the best in the American Hockey League right now. And the Silver Knights have also had Carl Lindbaum go 11-0-1 since the break. That's going to help things too. So
for sure.
Silver Knights soaring and hosting the first place Ontario Reign Wednesday night at Leafs Family Forum. You should go. Tickets available, HendersonSilverKnights.com. Now, we said we wanted to discuss a little bit. The GM meetings were held, and that's, of course, when the general managers around the league meet with the hockey ops of the National Hockey League, Commissioner Gary Bettman, talk about some things, what they like, what they think could be addressed. Some of the things that they discussed, next season, the season will be increased to 84 regular season games. That we knew. The discussion of the salary cap, some discussions of player safety, the blurred lines of goaltender interference reviews, things of that nature, things you expect to be talked about. One that has gotten a little bit of sizzle, I suppose, has been discussing the playoff format. And if it should remain as it is, which it, by all accounts from Gary Bettman, it's going to. But it seems like there's a little desire from teams, or at least to open the discussion of getting back to the 1-8 format that the league used to have until I think it was 2013. I think is maybe when they changed it. And for those who don't know, don't remember, or just want a refresher, at that point, teams in each conference were listed 1-8, and the top 3 spots would go to division winners, and then the next 4-8 in numerical order. Do you have a take on which way you would want to see this move? Do you like it as it currently exists, or would you be open to at least having this debate?
Well, the debate, make no mistake about it, it's because of the Central Division this year having the 3 top teams, Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas, be so good that one of those teams is going to be out in the first round.
Which is a valid reason to have the conversation.
Right, and that's why it was brought up by Minnesota GM Bill Guerin. That's why it's got more sizzle. He brought it up. And you know, a lot of people have had a hard time with this format, the wild card and the crossover from division to division. Is it fair? It looks least fair this year. I will say that because you have 32 teams and 4 divisions, having the top 4 from each division make the playoffs, play within your division before you cross over for the conference final, makes mathematical sense. Gary Bettman made a very unique argument, passionate marketing, explanation, if you will, saying, look at the excitement it generates to have that good of a matchup in the first round. It's like, yeah, everyone's excited about the playoffs anyway, Gary, in the first round.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's one of the things I come down to.
Right.
We're not going to have nearly enough time to cover this end to end as we need to. We're blowing through all the breaks. No. I think the argument that it makes the first round electric, the first round is electric. I don't love the idea of sacrificing a great conference final for a great first round. Now, again, the argument, it's valid. It's not right or wrong.
But don't forget, if you use the Central and you went 4 teams in the Central, 4 teams, and you play within your division first, the 2-3 matchup would still be the same.
Yeah. I like the traditional 1-8. And there's a couple of reasons. And now, again, the first round is great. My other argument for that is the way that the TV schedule has to be.
Right.
It's what we're seeing with March Madness right now. There's 4 games on at the same time. I can't watch them all. So even though the Minnesota-Dallas series, let's say, would be great, it's probably the one I'd watch, I wouldn't be able to see the other great matchups because you can only have so many. They're not staggered. Well,
they're staggered east-west. That's about it, right?
You're going to miss something. So you've got your greatest products competing against each other.
It's just I think the validity of Gary Bettman's take on it is the fact that if you went the way we just talked about, wild cards are kind of the vernacular of all sports. Having a wild, it would be the same matchup. If you stayed in the Central, it would be the same matchup. The only thing that really changes is who's eligible for the wild card.
I think the 1-8 setup, what that allows you to do.
Well, 1-8 is, that's even different.
Totally. And what I miss about that
Right.
is that, and some wild card teams on the bubble, some teams get to enjoy this, but not everyone does.
Right.
If you were in 10th place, and the difference between 10th and 5th is 6 points, let's just say, now I, as a fan, I'm watching everybody. I care if I'm a Panther fan. I care what the Senators did last night. Whereas right now, I'm much more divisionally focused, and maybe there's one other team outside that impacts my race. That's something that, and every year that's going to change. For me, the biggest question, Darren, and I'm curious what you think on this, I could be way off. Tweet us if you disagree. They went to this format to create rivalries. That was the biggest thing.
Right.
Has it?
Well, I mean, you had Edmonton and LA play 4 straight years in the play,
But is it a rivalry? Do you drop everything on November 12th because the Oilers and the Kings are playing tonight and I can't miss it? I don't know if it's created storylines. I don't know if it's created rivalries.
And rivalries are inherently regional.
Yeah.
Because you play them more, and usually they're born out of playoff matchups against one another. That's the way you build those rivalries. I don't really know. I mean, you go back to the days of those divisionals, the Smythe division, those old,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they used to beat each other up, and there was a lot of rivalry between 5 teams, 4 that made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Did that expand it nationally? I'm not so sure.
I think the answer lies somewhere else. I don't think it's the playoff conversation. They're kind of tied together in their
Right.
own way. I'd like to go back to something we used to do 15 years ago that isn't the playoff format. It's the schedule. I would argue rivalries aren't built in the playoffs unless something Claude Lemieux drills Chris Draper
Right.
from behind. Fine, that'll do it. But if not that, it's seeing the regional rival
More often.
6 to 8 times.
Well,
and that builds up hatred. And then you get to the playoffs and it's there.
That's the old Smythe division,
Yeah.
right?
'Cause
Norris division.
There was a time, and again, we're hockey fanatics, and you're a hockey professional, different relationship than maybe more casuals, but like I wouldn't miss Montreal and Toronto for anything on a Friday night. And now, when Montreal and Toronto play each other, Montreal and Boston, the Rangers and the Islanders,
Right.
there's a bunch of examples, the Blues and the Blackhawks, when they play each other 3 times a year, maybe 4,
Right.
and the Hurricanes are playing San Jose twice, I think we've actually watered down the rivalries we already had by accident
Right.
for the hope of playoffs, and I don't think the playoff matchups of one year carry over to the next season the way we want them to.
Right. But the other part that's factored into the game count and who you play, they wanted to make sure that everybody gets to see every team at least once in your market. So therefore, you had to take the games from somewhere. So that is the reason you didn't want to go 2 years without seeing Sidney Crosby in San Jose.
Yeah.
So there's economic factors. They're trying to mitigate some of the travel expenses because as the league's expanded, and you make those cross-country trips, there's an expense to be had. So lots of reasons, lots of factors, and lots of elements go into it.
Which is why this is fun, because
Right.
the state of the game right now is we've kind of got champagne problems. So
I agree.
I miss those elements. The game is plenty healthy. I wouldn't mind just a little bit more regular exposure to the best rivalries throughout
In
this
your division.
84-game stretch where we spend most of the season in the regular season.
Right.
By the time the playoffs come, 16 teams are done. 2 weeks later, 8 more are done.
Right.
I wouldn't mind, for the health of the regular season, especially with 2 more games added now, give me a little bit more of the great battles of yesteryear that still exist.
Okay, I'll vote for you. Vote for BMAC on the ballot.
I approve this message. Well, let's hop out. I think it's a fun topic.
It is.
We'll hop out when we come back. We'll take you through our favorite things baskets. The VGK have theirs being auctioned off right now. We'll let you know how to get your hands on them. But hang with us. Brian McCormack, Darren Eliot here with you. Nighttime at noon. Back on Nighttime at Noon. If you've ever wanted to own a piece of Golden Knights history of your very own, you certainly can. VGK Authentics is the official channel for game-used items coming off the ice, from game-used pucks to game-worn jerseys and everything in between. Owning something of your favorite Golden Knights player has never been so simple. Shop VGK Authentics on VegasTeamStore.com, at the Arsenal at City National Arena, and at the VGK Authentics kiosk behind Section 10 at T-Mobile Arena during games. VGK Authentics. I'll tell you what, if you really want to own something of your favorite players, we've got the best opportunity possible. It's right here on our desk. Right now, the Golden Knights are putting together and auctioning off their favorite things baskets. My favorite things baskets, to call it what it's actually called. Team auctioning off my favorite things baskets. They're curated by the players and their significant others to benefit the Peaceful Mama. Auction is open right now and runs through Thursday, 8 p.m., Thursday, March 26th, when the Golden Knights host the Edmonton Oilers at T-Mobile Arena. Baskets put together by the players reflecting their passions and interests. The baskets will be on display at T-Mobile Arena on Thursday outside of sections 11 and 12. Fans can participate in the auction by visiting favoritethings.givesmart.com, favoritethings.givesmart.com, or text favorite things to 76278, 76278. And again, proceeds to the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation and the Peaceful Mama. So this in front of us, this is William Karlsson's basket that he has put together. And as you can see, there's an autographed hat. There is a Star Wars Lego set. What can you see on your side there, Darren?
I can see there's some Swedish candy, I think. And that's about all I can make out.
Pokemon Ascended Heroes.
Yeah.
All right.
Guess I could I was looking at the screen. I guess I could look at the basket. It's a lot closer.
Just reach out and grab it, Darren. But each player has compiled a basket of their own for you to bid on to support the Peaceful Mama. And the Peaceful Mama is a nonprofit dedicated to addressing critical gaps in postpartum care, for providing families accessible, ongoing care. So
I just think it's one of the best promotions they run. It's a different way to get to know your VGK players.
So we've been asked not only to share this with you, and again through Thursday, you can bid on these, so make sure you do that. One more time, favoritethings.givesmart.com. What would be in your basket? Do you ever get asked a question like that and realize, I don't know myself at all? What do I like? I'm here. This is what I did.
Well, I have a book.
Show off. He reads.
Captain and the Kings. Go look it up. That's my favorite book of all time. How about some music? There's some music in there?
Sure.
Maybe if we go old school, Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones, or London Calling by the Clash. Let's see. If I'm thinking a little bit further,
there's some snack items in here. Carrot sticks.
I would do doggy treats or doggy toys for sure.
I like that. That's very good.
And if I'm going to put a game in there, I'd put cribbage. I mean, a lot of old school stuff in here. People are like, "What? It was on Google. What is he talking about?" And then maybe a dozen golf balls. Just throw that in there to round it out. How about you?
That's pretty modern. You're making your basket. You were making it sound more like a time capsule. We're going to dig it up. No, that works just fine. To go along your train of thought, I'm a huge Frasier fan. So I mean, do we need the box set DVDs now? I don't think we need that anymore. But I like
send a link.
Frasier things. That's my kind of wit. Big Foo Fighters guy, like the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Maybe some country, Eric Church, do a little of that. I'm a candy guy, so it looks like maybe some of the sour stuff is kind of more what Karlsson leaned towards. I'm more of a chocolate guy. So, basically, my favorite things basket is turning into an Easter basket really fast. But I think I lean in that direction. And then, heck, we should make this aspiration. You put a book in yours. I don't know.
Nothing about hockey. Isn't that great?
That's the thing. That's what I do all the time. It's like, what is our passion away from this? Like,
right?
I haven't been home in 6 days. I don't know what I do when I'm not doing this. But
microphone.
Microphone. Yeah, no, this is kind of loose. Can I get a new one? Just put it in there. But it's a great way to get to know your favorite Golden Knights players, and hopefully everyone will. At the very least, we hope you bid and you support the Peaceful Mama. But at the very least, take a gander, see what's in these baskets, get to know your favorite players a little bit more. Favoritethings.givesmart.com. So the Golden Knights getting ready to take on their next challenge. It will be the Winnipeg Jets. It will be tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific time puck drop on Scripps Sports and on Fox Sports Las Vegas. What does needs to be emphasized for the Golden Knights to take yesterday's success and replicate it?
Well, you don't change too much. I mean, I think the Jack Eichel line with Stone and Barbashev. Barbashev scored his 20th, but it was on that second power play unit. Wasn't at even strength with that line, but that line looked better. They looked more engaged. So I would look for them to carry that forward, that kind of play forward against the Jets. Other than that, as we've said, there hasn't been much to kind of pick and choose in terms of what needs to be ratcheted up all season long from a defensive structure standpoint. Offensively, can you keep the puck in the zone, especially if you get Connor Hellebuck in goal, which it looks like you will. You want to get him moving, which is a hard thing to do because if he's able to see it, he's able to stop it, as we know. And they've got enough, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, they've got enough offense to give you fits. As you said, their results in the standings don't match up with the talent on their roster very much either this year.
You know, Ryan Wallace is always asking for a night to shine. I'm not going to pick one player, but just in that mindset, I'm watching the first power play unit because they've been playfully challenged now.
Exactly. Dorofeev, how are they going to find a way to get him that puck again? They've taken away that option, that cross-crease option. Tomas Hertl in the bumper spot could be an impact. He's kind of the forgotten guy right now on that first power play unit.
And certainly not to look beyond the next challenge. You got to take care of business in Winnipeg. But certainly for the Golden Knights, in terms of momentum, confidence, all those things, boy, would they feel better with back-to-back wins heading into that home matchup with Edmonton than having to find another answer.
Yeah, and that one's going to have its own juice just in of its own right. You know, regardless if you win or lose against Winnipeg, you need points in the standings. That's obvious. But to your point, it's like it's Edmonton. It's always going to be a hard-fought game. There is a rivalry there, maybe because they've met in the playoffs a couple of times.
Well, you know, this has been a very helpful sit-down, I think, because we're ready for Winnipeg. We now know when your birthday comes next November, we've got a very good idea. We're going to get you golf balls and dog toys, and I've already forgotten the musical artist, but it's a lot of fun on nighttime at noon. Again, the Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets battle tomorrow, 5 p.m. puck drop Pacific time on Scripps Sports pregame at 4:30. And here on Fox Sports Las Vegas, Ryan Wallace kicks off the pregame at 4. Where are you watching from? Are you on the desk?
On the desk with Malley and Alec Martinez, I believe.
Busiest guy in show business. This guy, I would say he needs a break, but again, he doesn't want one.
Nope.
Guy's powering through all the time. Thanks for joining us on Nighttime at Noon. Back for more Nighttime at Noon next Monday. Enjoy the hockey this week, everybody.